Hi, and welcome to the 5th section of this course, Understanding the Difference Between Virtual Machines and Containers. This section will describe container technology in detail and explain how it is different from virtual machines by comparing the benefits of both. It will give you an overview of Docker and its installation and configuration details. It will also cover how to create CentOS containers for application deployment. We will also cover Docker Hub and the basic architecture of Docker. We will see how to use the Tomcat image available on Docker Hub and create a sample image with a Java and Tomcat installation and a Docker file. The section will demonstrate the following topics: overview of Docker containers, understanding the difference between virtual machines and containers, installation and configuration of Docker on CentOS, creating your first Docker container, managing containers. Now we will see the first video of Section 5, Understanding the Difference Between Virtual Machines and Containers. In this video, we will know the difference between virtual machines and containers. Docker is an open source initiative for OS virtualization that automates the deployment of applications inside software containers. It provides isolated user spaces and hence provides user-based processes, space, and file systems. Behind the scenes, it shares the Linux host kernel. This structure will illustrate the working mechanism of a Docker container. Docker has two main components with a client-server architecture. The Docker host. The Docker host contains the Docker daemon, containers, and images. The Docker engine is an important component that provides the core Docker technology. This core Docker technology enables images and containers. When we install Docker successfully, we run a simple command. In our case, we will consider CentOS for the container. To run an interactive shell in the CentOS image, use this command. The -i flag initiates an interactive container. The -t flag creates a pseudo terminal that attaches standard input and standard output. The image is a CentOS image. /bin/bash starts a shell. When we run this command, it verifies whether the CentOS image is available locally. If it is not available, it will download the image from Docker Hub. An image has a file system and parameter that can be used at runtime, while a container is an instance of an image with a state. It is simple to understand that containers change while images do not. Docker Hub. Docker Hub is a software as a service, SaaS, for sharing and managing Docker containers. It is a kind of centralized registry service provided by Docker. As a user, we can use it to build and ship applications. It allows us to create a pipeline to integrate with code repositories and for collaboration, image discovery, and automation. Let's navigate to this site and sign up by providing a username, email, and password. Activate your account by clicking on the activation link sent to your email ID. After successful activation, log in to your Docker Hub account. The Docker dashboard will look like this. Click on repositories to find images available in the public domain. Search for CentOS and you will get a list of all CentOS images available on Docker Hub. In recent times, cloud computing has become part of almost all technical discussions. Virtual machines have served a lot of people in utilizing resources efficiently. However, Docker containers have given them competition and, in fact, containers are more effective. Let's find out the basic differences between both the virtual machines and containers to find out the reason behind the popularity of containers. Virtual machines. In the virtual machine, we need to install an operating system with the appropriate device drivers. Hence, the footprint or size of a virtual machine is huge. A normal VM with Tomcat and Java installed may take up to 10 GB of drive space. There's an overhead of memory management and device drivers. A VM has all the components a normal physical machine has in terms of operation. In a VM, the hypervisor abstracts resources. In a VM, the package includes not only the application, but also the necessary binaries and libraries, and an entire guest operating system, for example, CentOS 6.7 and Windows 2003. Cloud service providers use a hypervisor to provide a standard runtime environment for VMs. Hypervisors come in Type 1 and Type 2 categories. Containers. A container shares the operating system and device drivers of the host. Containers are created from images, and for a container with Tomcat installed, the size is less than 500 megabytes. Containers are small in size and hence effectively give faster and better performance. Containers abstract the operating system. A container runs as an isolated user space, with processes and file system in the user space on the host operating system itself, and it shares the kernel with other containers. Sharing and resource utilization are at their best in containers, and more resources are available due to less overhead. It works with very few required resources. Docker makes it efficient and easier to port applications across environments. Now that we know the differences between virtual machines and containers,